George.
Oh, fancy that, Auntie Juju. My dear Auntie Juju, you've come all the way out here, and so early, what?
I had to see that you were settled in comfortably.
But you can't have had a proper night's
Oh,
sleep.
never mind that.
We were so sorry we couldn't give you a lift, but you saw how it was. Hedda had so much luggage, and she insisted on having it all with her.
Yes, I've never seen so much luggage.
Can I go and ask Madam if there's anything I can lend her a hand with?
Thank you, Berthe. No, you needn't bother. She says if she wants you for anything, she'll call.
Oh, very good.
Here, Berthe, take this bag, will you?
Yes. I'll put it in the attic.
Just fancy, Auntie Juju, I filled that whole bag with notes for my book. It's really incredible what I managed to find rooting through those archives. Wonderful old things that nobody even knew existed.
Oh, I'm sure you didn't waste a single moment of your honeymoon, George, dear.
No, I think I can truthfully claim that. Oh, but Auntie Juju, do take off your hat.
Oh.
Here, let me.
Oh, dear, oh, dear. It's just as if you were still living at home with us.
Yes, yeah, what a splendid new hat.
I bought it for Hedda's sake.
For Hedda's sake, what?
So that Hedda shouldn't be ashamed of me if we should ever go for a walk together.
Oh, Auntie Juju, you still think of everything, don't you? Come on, let's have a sit down and a little chat while we wait for Hedda.
Oh, George, it's so wonderful to see you with my own eyes again. Poor dear Joachim's own son.
But what about me? It's wonderful for me seeing you again, Auntie Juju.
You keep a soft spot in your heart for your old aunties, George, dear.
I suppose Auntie Rena is no better. What?
Alas, no. I'm afraid she'll never get better, poor dear. She's lying there just as she has for all these years. Please, God, I may keep her a little longer. If I lost her, I don't know what I'd do now that I haven't you to take care of.
Yes.
Oh, but, George, fancy you being a married man. And to think it was you who won Hedda Gabler. The beautiful Hedda Gabler. She was always so surrounded by admirers.
Yes. I dare say there are quite a few people in this town who wouldn't mind being in my shoes.
And what a honeymoon. 5 months. Nearly 6.
Well, I've done a lot of work, you know. I had all those archives to go through, and I've had to read lots of books.
Yes, dear, of course. But, George, tell me, haven't you any extra little bit of news to give me?
You mean arising out of the honeymoon?
Yes.
No, I don't think there's anything I didn't tell you in my letters, or my doctorate, of course, but I told you about that last night, didn't I?
Yes, dear, I don't mean that kind of thing. I was just wondering if you were expecting...
Expecting what?
Oh, come on, George, I'm your old aunt.
Well, yes, actually, I am expecting something.
I knew it.
You'll be pleased to learn that before very long I expect to become a professor.
A professor?
I think I may say the matter has been decided. Oh, but Auntie Juju, you know about that.
Yes, dear, of course. I'd forgotten. But we were talking about your honeymoon. It must have cost a terrible amount of money, George.
Well, you know, that big research grant I got helped a good deal.
Yes, but how on earth did you make it do for 2?
Well, to tell the truth, it was a bit tricky, what?
Especially when you're traveling with a lady. A little bird tells me that makes things very much more expensive.
Well, yes, of course, it makes things a little bit more expensive. But Hedda has to do things in style, Auntie Juju. I mean, she has to. Anything less grand wouldn't have suited her.
No, I suppose not. And a honeymoon abroad seems to be the vogue nowadays. Oh, but tell me, George, have you had time to look around the house?
You bet. I've been up since the crack of dawn.
What do you think of it?
Oh, it's splendid. It's absolutely splendid. I'm only wondering what we're going to do with those 2 empty rooms, between the little one and Hedda's dressing room.
Oh, George, I'm sure you'll manage to find some use for them in time.
Yes, of course, Auntie Juju. You're thinking of my books, what?
Yes, dear boy, I was thinking of your books.
You know, I'm so glad, for Hedda's sake, we managed to find this house. Before we became engaged, she often used to say this was the only house in town she felt she could really bear to live in. It used to belong to Mrs. Falk, you know, the Prime Minister's widow.
Fancy that. And what a stroke of luck it came into the market just as you left on your honeymoon.
Yes, we've certainly had all the luck with us, what?
Oh, but George, the expense. It's going to make a terrible hole in your pocket, all this.
Well, yes, I suppose it will, won't it?
Oh, George, really?
How much do you think it'll cost? Roughly, I mean, what?
Oh, I couldn't possibly say till I've seen the bills.
Well, luckily, Judge Brack has managed to get it on very favourable terms. He wrote and told Hedda so.
Yes, you mustn't worry, George. In any case, I've stood security for all the furniture and carpets.
Security? My dear sweet Auntie Juju, how could you possibly stand security?
I arranged a mortgage on our annuity.
On? Your annuity? And on Auntie Rena's?
Well, yes. Well, I couldn't think of any other way.
But Auntie Juju, have you gone completely out of your mind? That annuity's all that you and Auntie Rena have.
There's no need to get so excited. It's a pure formality, you know. Now, Judge Brack told me so. He was so kind as to arrange it for me. A pure formality. Those were his very words.
I dare say, but all the
In
same...
any case, you'll have a good salary of your own now. And goodness me, if we did have to fork out a little, tighten our belts for a week or two, we'd be happy to do it for your sake.
Oh, my dear Auntie Judy, will you never stop sacrificing yourself for me?
Well, what else have I to live for, dear boy, but to smooth your road a little? You never had any father or mother to turn to. And now, at last, we've achieved our goal. I won't deny we've had our little difficulties now and then, but now, thank the good Lord, George dear, all your worries are past.
Yes. It's wonderful, really, how everything's gone just right for me.
And the enemies who tried to bar your way have been struck down. They've been made to bite the dust. Your most dangerous rival has had the mightiest fall. And now he's lying in the pit he's dug for himself, poor misguided creature.
Have you had any news of Eilert since I went away?
Only that he's said to have published a new book.
What? Eilert Lovborg? You mean recently? What?
Oh, so they say, but I don't suppose it can be of any value to you. Now, when your book comes out, that'll be another story. What's it going to be about?
The domestic industries of Brabant in the Middle Ages.
Oh, George, the things you know about.
Mind you, it may be some time before I actually get down to writing it. I've made these very extensive notes, and I've got to file and index them first.
Ah, making notes, filing and indexing. You were always wonderful at that. Poor dear Joachim was just the same.
I'm looking forward to getting down to that so much. Especially now I've got this home of my own to work in.
And above all, now that you have the girl you set your heart on, George.
Oh, Juju, yes. Hedda is the loveliest thing of all. Oh. So sweet. So exciting.
Yes.